everyone. Okay, so now we're back. I have my pocket on my apron ready to go. I'm going to take you through the steps of making sure it gets on your apron in the right place. First of all, if you look carefully, I do have my straight stitch that secures the hem of the top of the pocket in place. Okay, and so that is ready to go. All the folds are on the inside. Obviously, that's where the folds are. If when you lay your pocket down, some of those folds come out or they fall out, just gently fold them back under and they'll lay very nicely because you ironed it. So lay your pocket on the apron. Now, here's the trick. How do you know where to place it on your apron? Well, if you remember, before you removed all of your pattern pieces, you made a chalk line. And that chalk line should be going across your whole apron, because when your apron was folded in half, you put the chalk paper, the tracing paper, on both sides of the, I'm sorry for the shadow here, but you put your tracing paper on both sides of the fabric, and then you use your tracing wheel right there, and you created that chalk line. So now if you're finding that you have residue from the tracing paper all over your apron, don't worry, it will wash out. And so it may look a little messy now, don't worry about it. So what you're going to do is you're going to lay your pocket within the lines of the chalk that you made. Okay, now there are times, and maybe you're going to find this, being this is your first apron, that it's not quite straight. Something is a little off. Okay, so how can you really ensure that even if your chalk lines, you've got it lined up with your chalk lines, but the pocket doesn't look centered or it looks a little crooked on your apron? There are a couple of things that you can do. First of all, because both your pocket and your apron were cut out on the fabric from the fold, both of them should still have a bit of a crease in the center. And so what you can do is line up the crease of where the fold was of your pocket with the fold that is still visible on your apron, because that's going to be the center of both of them. Now, another way to make sure that it's in the center and it's not crooked or in any way, use your tape measure. Measure at the top of your pocket. See the distance? This is about almost 6 inches there. Then I'm going to come down here, and looks like I've got just a little bit more, maybe 1/8 more of an inch, but I can tell that my pocket is not quite straight on that side. But if I would just reposition, and you're doing all of this before you do any of the pinning, okay? So don't put any pins until the pocket is right where you want it to be. So you measure on both top and bottom, so that will help make sure your pocket is not crooked. And then measure the other side to make sure that the pocket is the same distance from this edge as this edge, okay? And so those are a couple of ways to make sure that your pocket is exactly where it should be on your apron, even if you feel like your chalk lines are not perfect. Okay, once you've got it positioned in the correct place, then it is time to pin. So you'll notice that I put 4 pins at the top here. If you want to put maybe 5, that's fine. I have found I don't want pins every inch. That gets cumbersome to take them out as I'm sewing, and then I have to stop sewing a lot. But when I do secure it well with pins, my pocket's not going to do any shifting while I'm sewing. Now just keep in mind, when you're sewing, you're not holding your fabric in place. The pins are supposed to do that for you. So if you need maybe 5 or 6 pins up at the top, if while you're sewing you feel it shifting, just stop, take it out, put in a few more pins, and then pick up where you left off. You just line up your needle, your sewing needle, with the previous line that you were on, okay? But I think I've got plenty of pins here. Now notice the position of the pins. The head is facing out, the needle is facing in, okay? I did not place any of my pins in a down or up position. What would we say? I guess that means the pins are perpendicular to whatever stitch line. So if the stitch line is going this direction, my pin is going this direction. The head should always be facing out. And the reason why, a couple of reasons: safety, obviously it's better so you're not pinning yourself as much with the needle facing this direction. But also when you start sewing, as you're sewing, before you get to a pin, you should pull it out. But if you forget to pull out a pin and you just are sewing right along, the needle will jump over the pin. But if your pin is long ways, then your sewing needle could hit your pin and you could cause your sewing needle to break. So always, no matter what you're doing, even if you're just pinning and you're not ready to sew, always get into the habit of pinning so that the head of the pin is on the outside of the fabric and the needle is pointing inside. Okay, so now we have got our fabric positioned on the apron. Our pocket is ready to be sewn, and now I'm going to show you how to do that.